Anders Aslund is a senior fellow at the Peterson Institute for Economics right here in Washington, D.C. He says he's not expecting much of an impact at all that from the S&P downgrade.
I don't think it will have any impact whatsoever, given that today the opposition has taken over in the parliament thanks to many defections from President Yanukovych's camp. So what we have seen today is that the bond yields for Ukraine have fallen sharply because this was a political problem, and now it seems as if a political problem is reaching the best solution, a peaceful change of majority within the parliament, the only legitimate political institution standing today in Ukraine.
But is there any possibility that things could get worse? Because part of the downgrade is a negative outlook.
Yeah, but you know, this was done before these very major changes today. And the problem has been that President Yanukovych has had one major interest: to transfer as much money as possible from the state to himself and his family. That is what has undermined the economy. And of course, when you have a change of political regime, things can happen. But given that they managed to change back to a better constitution of 2004 today in parliament with a massive majority of far more than the required 2/3. I think that we should expect a fast political stabilization and a new government within 10 days, as has been stipulated.
Will there be any confidence as far as the outside world is concerned on Ukraine being able to service its debt, or will we be looking at some kind of restructuring now?
I don't think that any restructuring should come into question. The problem has really been a lack of political will to deal with the economy, and now there will certainly be such a will. What is worrisome is that the Russian attitude has changed now. So Russian Sberbank today announced that it would not offer any more loans to Ukraine. And of course, this $2 billion of a bond issue that was supposed to come, that will not come in. But Ukraine still has sufficient reserves so that they can manage the necessary payments. I don't think that we should worry about a default, even if it will be perhaps a month or so that will be quite shaky.
And one other component of that relationship with Russia is that Ukraine relies heavily on Russia for energy. Will the downgrade have an impact on that relationship, especially on prices?
I don't think so. What Russia did here in December was essentially that it cut the gas price by 1/3, which means that the current gas price is approximately market-oriented, while previously Ukraine paid far too high a gas price, and therefore Gazprom had lost most of the Ukrainian market. Now Gazprom can keep a reasonable share of the Ukrainian market. If it were to increase the price, it would lose it again, and if it would cut supply of gas, as it did in January 2006 and in January 2009, then I think that Gazprom would lose much of the European market that now has alternative supplies of gas. So I don't think that Gazprom or the Kremlin would be that foolhardy.
Looking a little bit more broadly, businesses looking to invest in Ukraine, how will they be viewing this?
Right now, it's very difficult to invest in Ukraine, and anybody who asks me, I suggest wait until we see how this political change has worked out. Then it could be interesting, because prices and costs are very low in Ukraine, and with a new government, Ukraine will undoubtedly sign the European Association Agreement and undertake substantial market-oriented reforms. So that will be a great improvement.
That was Anders Aslund, Senior Fellow at the Peterson Institute for Economics, talking to me earlier.